Hey DevOps people, how you doing? I hope you're alright. Just a second, something's not right with the audio. Oh, wait. We have a feedback. Okay, better. So... Oh, what a rough start today. Sorry for being late. Yeah, we had to have dinner late because first I had to track down my 6-year-old who was playing around the estate and didn't come home. So yeah, I guess I just need to move back and relax a bit. Good evening, or yeah, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm happy to have you on the stream. This is Full Stack Live, where I do all kinds of DevOps stuff. Mostly it's around Ruby coding. It's either working on a Ruby on Rails application, or as today I'm working on a Chef cookbook, and Chef is Ruby based as well. I find this a very good combination. So over the years we were able to focus on Ruby coding and gain a lot of experience doing that, simply because more or less all our software is based on Ruby. Even our monitoring system Sensu had been based on Ruby for quite a while. The new Sensu version now is written in Go. Oh, hey David. You mean the music? Is the music too loud? I can turn that down a bit, no problem. Let me see. Here we go. Let's make this half as loud. I think that should be okay, is it? All right. So yeah, being able to focus on a single language really makes things a lot easier, and so I'm pretty happy that Ruby seems to be alive and well, and so we can build our stuff on it. Even though I'm still interested in learning new stuff. For example, I would love to practice a bit of Haskell because it's so different from what I know. I also would be interested in learning more than the basics of JavaScript, or maybe even TypeScript. I wonder if it's a good idea to start learning TypeScript even without having experience in coding in JavaScript, or if it would be better to start with plain JavaScript and then move on to TypeScript. I think I'm looking for something that has a bit of a contrast to Ruby, so something that is functional as like Haskell, or at least strongly typed as TypeScript, just to get a different flavor, and to challenge my brain a bit. But the project for tonight can be a challenge as well. We'll see. And so I'll simply go and switch to my coding screen, don't get a scare. The music will get a bit louder as well, and I'll turn it down a bit as well. Too obnoxious. And I've changed the layout of my screen, as well as the camera angle. So I just wanted to have a bit more real estate for my editor here and for my terminal. If the font of my terminal is a bit too small, let me know in the chat, and I'll quickly switch the profile of my terminal here to a bigger font. But that way, of course, I get a bit more space. So let's switch to my chef terminal setup, and I'm already in my current project, which is a cookbook that does a setup for my SQL. Of course, since we've been running MySQL for almost 10 years now in my company, we have a cookbook, but that cookbook was an early fork of a community cookbook, and the community cookbook has since evolved, and but taking a few turns that I don't find too practical, and that's why I thought, okay, let's grab the latest version of the community cookbook that had the classic setup with a single database, and let's bring that into 2019, because that version is from 2014. What's happening here? Daniel, I'm sorry that Stream Elements just to your chat messages that we don't really grasp. Here's a six load. So let me rejigger that a bit. So let's go down to 50% here, which should basically do the trick. Find out what's happening with the chat moderation here. No idea. Well, that's not really chill anyway. What's going on with the music today? Good golly, this stream really isn't starting well. Let me see. Okay. That should be better. All right, so just to summarize what I'm doing here, our cookbook is an older version of the MySQL community cookbook. I don't want to use the latest version of that community cookbook because the maintainers made it much too complex from my point of view, and that's why I've taken the last version that had the classic setup from 2014, and now I'm updating that to current operating systems and standards and dependencies as well. So let's start a test run so I can see where I am. But if I remember correctly, the issue should reflect that. I was able to resolve the service reload issue because MySQL can't actually do a reload. If you want to have a different configuration, you either have to go into the MySQL console and change global variables on the fly, or if you want to reload the configuration file, that's actually not supported. You had to restart the service. And I've changed that where they did a reload, I changed that to restart. There's no way around that. And the next thing was that MySQL didn't start because the MySQL configuration file in the cookbook was built for version 5.5, I guess, or 5.6, and it doesn't really work with 5.7 because of a few changes, and that's what I'm going to do today. So here we have the server Ubuntu 16.04 test suite, and that test suite will break because MySQL can't restart after the configuration file has been written because the configuration file isn't up to date. And I guess there's an easy way to get an up-to-date configuration file by simply starting a clean Ubuntu 16 instance and copying the my.cnf file from there, and then I'll take that configuration file and insert these template placeholders again. So what we could do is actually go ahead and simply copy that templates default my.cnf erb, and we'll copy that to templates default my.cnf.erb.back. .back files get ignored by Git, and so that's only a temporary file. And here we go, and what happened was, yeah, it tried to do a system controls restart MySQL, and that broke because MySQL can't read this configuration file. What I'm going to do is delete this server Ubuntu 16.04 instance, and I'll simply create it without running the cookbook's recipe. And then I have a pristine Ubuntu instance where I can install MySQL and then copy the original my.cnf. So what I'll do is chef exec kitchen create server Ubuntu 16.04, which will only create the test instance without running chef. Okay, now I'm starting to settle in myself. How is everyone this evening? Daniel, what have you been up to in recent days? Okay, this now gives me the opportunity to SSH into this virtual machine. Wait, server 1264. Oh yes, I can imagine. Even with APIs, it's pretty hard from time to time to really move data between systems, because either these APIs are hard to use, they may even be SOAP APIs, or they only cover part of the whole system, and yeah, things could be easier in that regard. Okay, so let's go ahead and install my SQL. It's been a long time since I installed MySQL manually. That password prompt really surprised me. I guess I have to set that, so let's set it to root, as you do. I imagine that Salesforce especially is more enterprisey and quite complex to use. It might not be an SAP system, but maybe it's just a prejudice, but I don't think I'd volunteer building data import to Salesforce. Alright, so we have our my.cnf here. And is there a way to get this out of here quickly? Did we get a mount to the host machine here somewhere? think so. So how would I get this out of there? I guess I'd have to SSH into there or SCP into there. So let's start by copying this to the Vagrant user. cnf to home Vagrant. Still belongs to root, but it's world readable. Okay. Now, which port does this thing use? Since this is all managed by Test Kitchen, my the Chef Test framework, I normally don't have to find out the IP address and all that stuff to access it. I can simply Test Kitchen SSH, and Test Kitchen will find out everything for me. But this time I need to use SCP, and I don't think that Test Kitchen does allow me to do that. Is there a way to do it? Let's find out. Chef exec kitchen help. Maybe I should have simply spun up a Docker container with Ubuntu. That might have been the easier way instead of using a kitchen VM. There is login, but nothing like transfer or something like that. You know what? I'll actually go the Docker route. Does Docker already run here? Yep, looks like it. Okay, so Docker run --rm -it Ubuntu 1604 bash. I shouldn't remove it after I exit the shell, so this should do the trick. Okay, that was quick. And I guess that's the image ID, or the container ID. And now we do the same. apt-get install mysql server. apt-get update. Okay. Here we have what we need. Just out of curiosity. Oh yes, this is actually a symbolic link. Interesting. I wonder what the alternative configuration files here are, but I don't care. All we want is to get a working MySQL configuration. So, okay, docker exec id cat my.cnf. Oh, it's not running. Shut down automatically? Interesting. Okay, so there's not much. Looks like they've split it up into different configuration files. Let's take a look. Oh. And here is a mysql.cnf. Oh, come on. Damn you, minimal Docker containers. Not much to look at. MySQL dump isn't interesting or relevant at the moment. And then we have mysql.conf.d. And there's the mysqld.conf, that's I think what I need. Or even the save.conf. Okay, that's not much, just syslog. I guess I'll actually copy this kind of setup because it will make it easier to add configuration snippets, even though in my experience that's not really necessary. But having additional recipes that simply add certain stuff without having to rewrite the main configuration file could be useful. We might never use it, but if we have to do it, we will be able to. So, we'll copy that into templates default my.cnf.erb. Bada bing. And I guess that wouldn't even have to be a template, because I don't think we'll insert placeholders here at all. But still. And then we'll take a look at MySQL .conf.d. There is that stuff. Yeah, let's grab that as well. That's a CNF. So we can delete the conf file here. Let's grab the MySQL dump file. And then we need the mysql.conf.d directory, and from there we'll grab the mysql.d CNF. And the mysql.d safe. Oh, it's safe syslog. Okay. And that's that. And in our server recipe, we create these two directories, if they don't even exist already. So that's for the here we have MySQL server directories, and they get created here. So I simply have to look at this node attribute MySQL server directories and make sure that our two directories are included here. So that should be in here. And they are using, okay, they are using sub keys here. Wait, how does this play? Server directories each, which would... Oh, okay, so this is actually not an array, it's a hash. That's why, of course, they grab the key value pair here. Okay. So, does it make sense to... In this case, the conf.d dir does get created. Well, just go ahead and say, okay, so what we need is a MySQL conf.d dir. That should do the trick. So this will get created, and then where do they write? Here they write the my.cnf. I guess we'll do the same. for the other configuration files, which is mysql.cnf. Do we do it in a loop? Yes, I guess we do it in a loop. So it's the mysql.cnf, and what else? The mysql.dump.cnf. And then we'll use conf here, and I'd have to do a replacement here. No, actually, wait. I don't. Let's simply use conf and add erv. Okay. And then we'll do the same for the mysqld.cnf and the mysqld save our syslog file. And write them using the template. Wait, mysql conf, yeah. We could even factor out the .cnf extensions, but I guess that way it's easier to spot that these are configuration files. Alright, with this new setup and these configuration files copied directly from a pristine MySQL installation, we should be able to run this. I'll go ahead and kill my Docker container again. So that's this one here. Okay, and we already have a machine created here. Is that still the case? Didn't I shut it down? Maybe I did it in the other window. That's some pretty epic music. I should keep this music for the end of my stream when everything converges successfully. Okay, so I've actually torn it down, so let's do a test kitchen converge. Let's see if rebuilding the configuration files lets it converge successfully. There must be an error here. Yeah. I'm missing the end statements here, so this is not syntactically correct. this should. I think this change was still in time, so it gets transferred to the VM, because the VM is just only booting up. So mental note, normally it runs on, so SSH runs on port 2222. Here we even have everything we need. So it would have been localhost 2222 and log in with my own private key. That's pretty neat. I'll actually try that. Let's give it a shot. Oh wait. So exactly if I do SSH 2222 localhost. Nah, it still does ask for a password. It might even create a temporary private key. No idea. Anyway, I can always use Docker. And while this is converging, we can still go through the attributes file here and toggle the string delimiters. I guess I can do a search and replace here, which is much quicker. So let's find a single quote followed by not single quote. And then find a single quote and replace that with a double quote and whatever was in there. I don't think I have nested quotes here, so that's that. And Robocop should be much more happy. Okay. That's supposed to be square brackets. Line length. Yeah. These indentations don't really do anything for me. They only make it harder if you have a smaller terminal window. And that's why I'm limiting VS Code here to 80 columns by intention, because it tells me where the lines should end. Still got breakage. So it's missing a mysqlx save rsyslog template. mysqlx save rsyslog. Let's see what that means. Oh, what? It does contain templates defined mysqlx save. Oh, syslog. It should name rsyslog. Okay. Yep. And it actually finished successfully. Everything went through. We'll still have to run a fresh instance because running the same instance several times isn't a good indicator. So let's delete it and do a new convert run. But in the meantime, let's see, we did. Okay, yes, I'll simply add that and commit it as working configuration without attributes. That's quite 80s synth pop. Eye of the Intern. Interesting. Okay, so now there is the daunting task of replacing all that stuff with the existing node attributes. I guess I should be able to split this. How do I put two windows, two editors next to each other? So I need this next to this. I guess that's how it works. And I also should compare it to the actual attributes that get set. So for example, wait, well, I can compare it later anyway. So let's grab this and put this here. ID didn't get a socket, but let's simply repeat this down here. Then we have the nice volume. Let's put it here. Don't have a client section up here, no we don't. So let's go down to this part here, the PID file. And the socket and the port. Base here. Data dear. Temp dear. Even multiple ones. And if skip name resolve, that's not even in here. Okay. I won't add additional stuff. I'll stick with the original configuration file as long as I can. Bind address. I guess that wasn't the case back then. And we'll have to add a new attribute here. So these aren't too many attributes anyway. I expected there to be more. So we need a bind address. And we'll right. I'd like to copy this one just to get the full thingy, and then I use only this part. Okay. And I guess we can remove this comment because it simply doesn't apply if we make this variable. How will I test this relative huge change of changing my SQL? I'll run the integration tests here, and I'll add a few of my own just to make sure that everything is still working. But so that's the current plan. It's not more detailed at the moment because I'll have to find out how things work. I'll also have to look at our internal MySQL cookbook, because that might even have additional settings that we need to apply here if we want to replace our internal cookbook with this official cookbook, which I'm going to publish as open source. Yeah, I guess I'll have to see how exactly I'll make this as robust as I can. Let's go right ahead and not propagate these single quotes anymore. Oh yeah, this attributes file only covers the Debian or Ubuntu specifics, but there is another server.rb that has all the general stuff. And that's lots of tunable values. It even has this bind address thing. So we don't actually have to have our own bind address here. Because it's already here, and it gets determined if we are in the cloud, then we'll use the local IPv4 value for cloud, else we'll use the IP address of the node. Okay. Can live with that, so that's MySQL bind address. Okay. All right. I guess we can start looking for these tunables. But I don't know, having these two windows next to each other doesn't do it for me, because it makes it really hard to read things. I guess switching between windows. Wait. Back in reverse. Okay, here we go. That way I can much easier find what I'm looking for. So let's move this here. And where's my MySQL decnf gone? So, key buffer size. We got it. It's 256 meg. Default is only 16 meg, but yeah, I guess we can be a bit more generous here. But I need to. Oh, let's type it in. Node in front. I guess I better fix the quotes in the original file here. Oh. Somehow I copied it into this here. Okay, let's rebuild that. That's better. Good. Now, next value, max allowed packet. Red stack, I don't. Okay. I shouldn't be too quick to dismiss these things. 192, and here we have 256. That's all right. Thread cache size is 8, and in here it's 8 as well. Nice. Do we actually have these undercover options? Probably not. Well, we do. As I said, I shouldn't be too quick. Definitely need a setting for max connections. I wonder why this is commented out here. Max connections. 800 is a lot. Table cache is an interesting thing because I think that was named open table cache before. Table open cache, yeah. So shouldn't there be a table open cache option somewhere? Looks like this is a very simple variant here. 64, and in our case it's 128. Thread concurrency. I think I've seen this before, haven't I? Yep. Query cache limit. and query cache size. No replication settings and stuff. I guess we'll have to retrofit that later, because I definitely want to support bin logs and replication. I need to. More or less I'll have to integrate all these settings in my mysqld CNF, even if it's missing at the moment. Let's see. Here we have a few more active options. Expire logs days. Do we have an attribute for this? Yes, we do. Nice. Max bin log size. And that's it for this very rudimentary configuration file. I guess we've replaced every active setting here and made it variable, which means that the same thing here should also work with our node attributes. And I can't test it on our production systems yet, because it's just, yeah, it needs a lot of love, and it's how do I put it? So this is, or this has been version 4 point something of the community cookbook. The internal cookbook we are using at the moment was a fork of version 3, and it has diverged from there. So it's a two-way merge that I have to do here. First of all, I have to make the version 4 that I forked here work with current MySQL 5.7 and make sure the cookbook works as it was written, and then I'll have to try and port everything we did internally into here, so in the end this cookbook can replace our internal cookbook. Also, I've only started, or I've stripped this cookbook from all operating systems other than Ubuntu, just to keep it simple for myself. But since I want to republish this, I'll have to add the operating system support again before I publish it. It shouldn't be too much of a task, but I guess there are operating systems that have their own quirks and configuration names and things like that. Oh, we have the error log. Is that parameterized? Let's look for error. Not sure. What did log error do? Let's look in our backup file. It's log underscore error. Yep, that's that. And it has the same for log warnings, but that's not included here yet. Okay. I just noticed my terminal is going into night shift mode, or is it just the display? I wonder. No. Yeah. Let's see. Does Flux influence how this is broadcast? I have no idea. Did you see a change in colors? So until I install this cookbook in our production environment, there's quite a bit of work still ahead of me, and a lot of testing, definitely. Okay, something broke. So let's log in and see what we botched. Should be logged. Unknown variable thread concurrency equals 10. Thread concurrency. Oh yeah. Wasn't this in the original file? This is strange. Wasn't this in here before? I don't remember adding it. MySQL thread. Let's see. is InnoDB thread concurrency. Let's see. Different pages. Removed in 572, and this is 5735, 3 or 5. Okay. So I must have added this line. I don't know why. If we go ahead and remove this, okay, now I'm getting confused. Does this version of Ubuntu 16.04 have a different MySQL version than what I ran in Docker? Which is very strange. What else is broken here? Access denied for user root. So it looks like I've locked myself out. Death by Solace, thanks for following. Happy to have you on the stream. I really appreciate it. I wonder if there is a different approach to what I'm doing here. Maybe I should even copy the template from our internal cookbook and then find out if things are missing, because I guess the template from our internal cookbook should be pretty complete with support for replication and all that stuff. The configuration file is much longer than this one. And then I can see if I have to define additional default attributes that are missing from the cookbook. I guess that might actually be a good idea. Because otherwise I'd have to now go through the attributes list here and make sure each and every of these attributes is included in our new configuration file, which also is much shorter than the older version here. Even taking this old version and simply fixing the errors that we get with 5.7 looks more viable than what I've initially done here. Yeah, I think this might actually be a good idea. The differences aren't too significant. And we can simply copy this backup file over mysqlx.cnf. That should do this. Yep, I'll do that. But first let's see if this actually runs through. Well, if I delete this file anyway, doesn't really matter. But since it's already installing, let's give it a few more minutes. Here we go. And it actually survived the restart. Okay. Let's commit this one. We call this config file copied from pristine 5.7. Oh, that's config file with attributes, I guess. Just to conserve this working version. But so next I'll actually move templates default my.cnf erb back into templates default mysqlx.cnf.erb. boom. So I can get rid of that. We'll remove the client part here. Oh, why not even keep it? Because it's mysqld.conf, isn't it? Is there a client part in MySQL? No, there isn't. There's only MySQL dump. But anyway, if we need this client part, I can always create a client.cnf.erb and add that as well. That way we get things nicely separated. So that's that. And since there are already conditionals in here that check if something is above 5.5, for example, this should pretty much work out of the box with a few changes that came for 5.7 that this cookbook just didn't know about. And I guess, do you think I can simply search and replace the quote signs? Looks like it. Okay, let's do this. Let's see what else lights up here. Nice. Looks pretty trivial. Just lots of hash keys. Okey-doke. Nice. I guess we'll have to give it another try. So let's see how they dealt with the table open cache. Yep, that's already in here. But it will definitely break at least once, won't it? So any thoughts how my new screen layout is working out. Also with the temporary chat messages. Do you think having the whole screen as a work area is an improvement over the limited screen with the chat sidebar? I don't think it makes much sense to have all these indentations. Oh, how stupid of me. Yeah, you're perfectly right. Of course, I'm covering my own command line. See? It really pays to ask. So let's fix this, at least in a temporary manner. Thank you, Daniel. And since we have a bit of space, I'll simply move my pretzel window here so you can always see the song that's playing. So I actually have to think where I'll move my camera window. I might even leave it down there. Because I don't think I'll need the full height of the terminal window. I like to have the width, so lines don't get wrapped that often, but I don't need the height. Okay, at least something broke, and I'll log in to check what the reason was. Maybe our thread concurrency crept in again. It's also getting late, and well, let's go into a log directory. Here we got an access denied. hasn't been any real error, just notes. So somehow the changed root password seems to have broken. Exited failure. And I don't think I'll be able to start it again, right? It's not. Let's see if I can access. Is there a MySQL? No, there isn't. So I probably tried to restart and then couldn't get it. Stopped it and then it didn't get it up again. I guess I can brute force reset the root password. Or I could, oh yeah, I can simply try and start mysqld in the foreground. And yeah, that way I get the error message here. InnoDB additional mempool size is unknown. It's not easy to spot. Probably scrolled past it. What's it called? Mempool size. Mempool size. Yeah, here we go. What happened with this? Removed in 574. Located removed. Well done. Let's remove it. Anything else that breaks it? Nope. And now we are denied access again, but that's not a problem because I'm shutting down this VM anyway. I think we are pretty near getting the MySQL server running with a pretty complete configuration file. So next will probably be merged in whatever we added in our internal MySQL cookbook. So to get it basically feature complete. And I'm going to do that in my session on Saturday afternoon. So if you like, join me again Saturday at 3:30 British Standard Time and Irish time. I'll also send out a tweet before I go live, and I hope it doesn't get delayed as it did today. Anyway, make sure to follow my Twitter account at Gwiz to get the notification and to follow the stream here on Twitch. And yeah, until I see you next time, I'd say thanks for watching. Thanks for every feedback. If there is additional feedback you have, and if there is anything you'd like to ask or you'd like to discuss with me, feel free to join me on Twitter, send me a tweet, and make sure I get your attention, and I'd be happy to chat. So until Saturday, thanks for watching, and take care.